time to talk to us.
Oh, you're welcome. Thank you for coming.
Of course. How are things in your world?
You know, they're good. The band's pretty tight, and we're just enjoying playing together. And the music is the last two records been great for us.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I like the whole vibe. You know.
There's a nice incline in the quality of the albums. I think.
Sure. Yeah. I mean,
albums.
just good producing and. I mean, recording too for me, I always say the story, it's just I'm alone. I don't have anybody around and I can really just focus on what I'm doing versus people coming in at all times and just engulfing you with just all kinds of things and critiquing you, and it just takes forever and sometimes you just get beat down. So now I feel really good about the records, you know, at least on my end. Musically, I'm sure those guys too have really taken on more advanced type of writing, the arrangements.
Yeah.
You know.
And what is your current role in the creative process?
I come in later and just, you know, I hear the cut as a full instrumental. Yeah. Like basically I used to do before, and Scott would lay out some lyrics and me and Jay just go in there and we just hammer away, and you know, within the 3 hours or so we don't know what we're gonna hear, and it's like.
So you get the whole complete package and the lyrics, and you just start singing it.
Yeah, and I kind of go wherever I can take it, you know, and especially with the harmonies and all that kind of stuff, and it's good. Kind of reminds me of Elton John and his partner, you know, Bernie. So.
Yeah. You always need a good partner. Absolutely.
Yeah, it's cool. It's a different way of doing it. Like I just asked you about writing and stuff. So.
Tonight and this whole tour, you'll be playing the 1987 Among the Living album.
Correct.
In its entirety. How is it to play this classic album back to back?
It's great. I mean, we had a great experience with the record, you know, in the past. Had to revisit a few songs, you know, like the latter part of the record, you know, One World and Horror of It All and Imitation of Life. Those ones, Skeletons, we dabbled a bit, but you know, just doing those songs, just getting the arrangements together. But I mean, they sound great now. I actually like them now more so than I did before.
Yeah, I bet.
Yeah, because I mean, they just got a lot more meat to them, you know.
There's a lot of classics on the album. A lot of them got into our DNA with the live versions.
Yeah, it's great. I love it, and that's what's cool about that. We've already had our feet wet with those songs, so. But it's nice that people want to hear a record in entirety, you know.
Is the reaction from the crowd different these days than from the earlier days?
You know, it's similar. You know, I mean, it's definitely energetic and very overwhelming. If that part's different, maybe because people are just still. You got a lot of new people coming, so they're very, very, you know, seem happy. Yeah.
How do you feel the album has aged over the time? How does it hold up?
Well, production-wise, you know, it's a different animal. We were talking about it last night with Eddie Kramer being there and just talking about how he wanted to approach it. And for me, it was like, God, I mean, I went from spreading the disease to, holy shit, we're doing this fast, more thrashy stuff, and it was kind of fun, but it was all really quick. I mean, I was on board and. Off we went, you know. That's my biggest thing, is just remembering all that.
If you listen to the biggest hits on the album, I think live they evolved a bit from what they were on.
Oh yeah. I mean, I didn't have a whole lot of time with some of those records. I mean, and again, not only do you have time, but just to experiment, to feel your way through it. Yeah. I mean, that's the other thing. I know this music much better than I did back then. You know, and it makes more sense to me, and it feels much more comfortable. You know.
Yeah. In what ways would you say this classic Anthrax album is still similar to the modern day material, like in For All Kings?
Well, you still got your Anthrax. You know, the style, the way of playing. You know, there's certain thing about Anthrax has a certain stamp of a style. I don't know. That's a hard one, really. I don't know how to really describe that. I almost would say, what do you think, you know?
Yeah. Well, it starts with, how do you define Anthrax?
Well,
what is typical Anthrax?
well, Anthrax to me is sharp and witty.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's very, 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 precise in its own way, and yet we have a certain thing that people don't have, and it's just something that's hard to explain. You just hear it, you know.
I think it always had that fun element.
Yeah, the fun is always there for me. I know everybody else likes to, but I mean more so. I don't. It makes me. It's more happy to do what you're doing, you know, because it can be fun. You know, it doesn't have to be silly, stupid. It could be fun, you know, because I'm still here to music and it's still heavy, but.
Well, silly is also fun. The first Anthrax song I heard was "I'm the Man."
Wow, I see. And if you didn't know us, like you know us now, you would think, wow, that's not them.
My cousin had a mixtape for me with "I'm the Man" on it.
Yeah, there you go. See, and I didn't even know what the hell that was when I heard them. You know, when they were rehearsing doing that, I was like, oh my God, what's this? You know.
Will you ever revisit that, like you did in 1991?
Yeah, we play it. Yeah, in fact, I think we played it on this one night too. I mean, and then I think we just backed off on it because the set was so long.
Yeah.
You know, didn't need it in there. You know.
It's a nice silly song.
Yeah, it is.
This is not the first time you play this album in its entirety. You did it 2 times before. The reunion show in 2005 and the Metal Alliance show in 2013.
Yeah.
Will you be doing things differently this time, or?
Yeah, we are doing it different because we're doing a full set of whatever songs, just an array of songs, and then we go intermission, as we call it, just to change the settle around a little bit with 10 minutes tops. Bang, we hit the whole album. You know, we go and play the whole album, and then something else maybe.
I'm pretty excited to hear it.
Yeah, it feels good now at this point. We really got her all on full, you know.
What songs on the album are the most fun to play for you?
Probably the ones I've done all the time, there's no doubt. I mean, Indians and I'm the Law and Caught in a Mosh. Yeah. Those are especially, of course, NFL and Among the Living. Those are the ones we've had plenty of time to pound away. And they're popular too, and then when you get the deeper cuts, Skeletons, One World, Horror of It All, Imitation of Life, those are a bit quirky. They're different, So, but they're feeling good.
Do you ever feel you will grow tired of playing songs of this era, or do they stay fun?
Well, just pulling the stuff out. I mean, we haven't had a chance to be tired of anything really. I usually don't get tired of anything. There's just some songs that are just not as easy live. They don't go over like, whoa, they're not the big cut. Yeah. So you think that maybe it's just not working kind of thing. You don't know. Yeah. Other than that, I try not to get sick of anything, I don't.
No, that's a good attitude.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm happy that anybody wants to hear anything we have.
You've been around for Anthrax's biggest successes like this album. It has really big hits on it. Yet you've been out of the band for 18 years. How do you look back at your departure from Anthrax, that period?
While I was out?
Yeah,
or before I was
back at that period?
Yeah, well, you know what? I was on my own. There's nothing like being on your own after being in a band, and you just don't have all that to rely on. No, barely any assistance that came along with me like it was going to be like no problem. I was going to turn into Phil Collins overnight. It just doesn't work. And you know what? I was okay. I was sad to see the thing. I don't know what they were really going for. They were going for some 90s
new
style, and apparently I wasn't the guy or something, and that's all I can think of. And I'm sure that's enough for me to realize that what do? You don't beg your way back in. So I just maintained playing music. I still, as I do all the time, so I haven't stopped.
You kept busy writing your own stuff? Yeah,
I wrote music, and a lot of it was demo stuff, just whoever wanted to come over and jam, and I have a cover band, I still have the cover band, and
new songs coming out for your own projects? Or?
I have stuff, I just haven't had any time to really work on it.
Just being busy.
Yeah, and I, with Anthrax, there's just so much going on. And plus, when I do the cover thing, as soon as I get home, I go out and play drums in my band and I sing. And we do 60, 70 songs a night. So by the time I'm done with all that, you know, doing originals sometimes just become like, wow, when, you know, because Anthrax is pretty busy.
And now on the crazy train again.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's right.
If you look at the stuff that the guys did while you were away, how do you look at that music? How do you feel about that music?
Seemed good. I don't know. You know, if I was to compare it, I didn't hear anything that we were doing that wasn't as good. I didn't hear anything that blew me away as far as, I mean, I thought the music end of it was good. John's decent, but just the overall thing, I think we had something cool there, and I didn't hear that.
Yeah.
You know, but that wasn't meaning it wasn't good. It just wasn't my idea of a better, you know, being better about it. It was just different, you know.
Yeah.
I enjoyed the style that they were trying to dig into. I think they kind of straightened it all out a little bit, but it wasn't as thrashy in some ways sometimes too. But I don't know. It gets crazy after a while when you try to explain it all. It's like it was what it was, you know.
It was what it was. Yeah. After the 2005 reunion tour, sorry.
That's okay.
We had to wait 5 more years to see you rejoin the band. Was it a hard decision to make?
No, that was a weird thing again. They got someone else for a little while, and I was like, I mean, if I only knew what was going through anybody's head. I mean, you're talking about somebody that no one even knew or even was experienced or something like that. It's kind of out of my hands, you know.
I tried to figure out what was happening in that time.
I wish I knew too. I remember my friend called me. He goes, "Dude, they got another singer." You know, I read it. I'm like, "Really? Oh, wow. I didn't know that." Okay. Well. You know, I'm not even sure they wanted to be a band again with me. I couldn't tell you. You know, it was cool doing the reunion, but it wasn't like when I got back and when we did the Big Four. That was like that was when they seemed to want to do something for real.
I thought I read somewhere it had to do with your indecisiveness, so I thought, okay.
There was no indecisiveness.
Okay.
I was there. I wouldn't have come back in the first place. And again, you know, I don't know where they would have said entice. I had no reason to do that. They got another guy. I mean, it was really quick. It was too quick. It was almost like, you've been dating, I didn't know about it, you know, kind of thing. It was too quick. Too quick.
Keeping busy. How important is Anthrax in your life?
It is what I do, you know. I mean, when I get down to it, when I look at the most important thing that musically, it's that tops anything I'm doing. Unfortunately, you know, when you do this for a long time and the way we've established it, it's hard to go away from it, you know. And it works. It's a good band. I mean, we really have a good thing. It's hard to find that package and be able to come out right now and be that band. Where some bands, they have one guy or nobody and they still called that band. You know what I mean? So that's the thing. It's just it's a lot of work, you know. There's nothing easy about it, you know. Everything you got to do. I mean, I love playing and I love singing, so I work hard at what I do. So
nothing good is ever easy.
No, that's right, and that's why I try to tell anybody, you know, if you want to get somewhere, you gotta really keep working at it. And we do work a lot, so.
Yeah, I bet. As mentioned, tonight we celebrate one of your most iconic albums. How did you experience the time of recording the album? What was that time like?
It's still, again, it was a little bit overwhelming because I just came out of spreading the disease and just understanding I'm in a band called Anthrax and we just did a record and people are starting to like it, and then okay, we're going to do another record, and it was just, you know, I'm still getting to know these guys. I really didn't have a chance to really get comfortable with anything, and yet I was psyched to do another record and see what's going to happen. And none of us knew what that was going to be like. But I mean, it was fun. We weren't down in Florida. You know, we had a nice setup in the hotel, and we go to the studio every day, and you know, not much rehearsal on my end. So it was kind of throw and go. And
a bit of a thrill ride. You jump on board a roller coaster.
Yeah, you just go and. And it was definitely learning because, again, we went from that a little bit more straight up, spreading disease, a little bit more open into more of a, you know, a little bit more crazy, you know, thrashy, you know, it was an upswing. So it was,
crazy times.
Yeah.
Yeah. That album, it was dedicated to the memory of Cliff Burton, who passed away on a...
We were on the road with him
You
at
were
the
on the
time.
road with
Yes,
them.
yes.
How do you look back at that time?
Ooh, you know, that particular tour was, you know, it was a sad moment.
Yeah.
It was a great tour. It was like, that was another time, like, because I just started to get to know what Metallica was and who they were and their music, and then to meet everybody and get to know them, and then all of a sudden that happened.
Yeah.
So that's always a memory that you'll never forget, you know.
It's a double-edged sword a bit. You were there for the most iconic tour for Metallica,
Yeah,
I think.
sure, yeah.
Master Tour.
Sure felt that way.
And a tragic moment with Burton.
Yep.
What was
Yep.
it like to see him play live? Did you actually
Great,
go
yeah.
see him?
And at that time, everything was just overwhelming. You know, I mean, just the whole touring. You know, because that was like really one of the full length, like decent, like for real touring. Other than like when it was Overkill and Aiden Steele, we were in a school bus, and you know, it was just a bit crazy. But that Metallica tour seemed to be a little bit more like what it was going to be like.
Yeah.
You know. It's just a great package, you know. I mean, the two of us together was. I would have loved to have been able to do that 2 or 3 more times, you know,
Yeah.
or whatever.
It's sad that it ended there.
Yeah, it was an awful moment.
Overkill, also nice guys, by the way.
Yeah, though I just saw Bobby and them and Chuck, Billy, and all of us around the boat. We did 70 tons of metal.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it was good to see everybody
Awesome.
together. Yeah,
Nice setting.
yeah, right.
Still want to go there one time.
Yeah, you should. It was actually fun.
Yeah. If you look at the current Anthrax and compare it to the old days before your hiatus, has a lot changed?
Yeah, well, you know, you got the record sales and the internet and the phones and you know, all the even the computers and all that stuff. All that stuff is like the big change, you know. I mean, we had no communication at home for a lot of this. You know, it was really not easy to be out on the road for 6 weeks. You know, without any. We had to use like a phone in the back room just to call your parents.
Yeah.
Tell them, yeah, I'm okay, mom.
It's
Or dad.
texting.
Yeah. Now we're rocking with all kinds of.
Yeah.
But you know, again, the internet's taken over a lot of stuff music-wise, and you know, the whole music business is
Totally
a big change. You know, but we still roll through it. You know.
Yeah. What would you say is still the same from that time?
What was the same?
It's still the same in this time. Yeah. From the tour.
Well, just getting to and from. You know, you gotta drive. You gotta
Yeah.
you know the late nights.
Basic stuff.
Yeah, the basic stuff. You know, and just getting through the day. You know, everything it takes to be, you know, full strength to be on tour.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's and just having some fun. You know.
You're still having fun. Yeah.
Yeah.
You toured with the Big Four. You have a great, well-received album For All Kings. The previous one also did really well. And it seems most of the struggles of the bands are in the past now. So it's a really good time to be in Anthrax, I think, right now.
Yeah, I think it's probably as good as any, because at this point, I mean, no one's looking around their shoulders trying to figure out who's going to be where they are now and all that kind of stuff. I think we can't be in a position to do too much stuff like that, because I don't think anybody really wants that to happen. Mm-hmm. I didn't personally, and I don't think, you know, in the end of the day today, you might ask everybody, I don't know if they wanted that to happen, you know.
Yeah.
I wish I knew what we could have done in that pocket of time. I just can't imagine.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, we're, as far as I mean, my opinion, we're doing everything at a high level, you know.
Yeah.
So, and that's really what you're looking for.
Everything or nothing.
You know, I mean, it takes work every day, no matter what you do. I don't care if you're hanging with 5 of your friends. Each guy has his own little thing. It's that's just natural.
Yeah, I bet. Do you have any regrets so far, if you look at the road so far?
At the band?
At the band, at your creative decisions, at anything?
Well, I wish I learned how to play guitar and piano. Like we were talking earlier, it's just being able to play a little bit more instruments.
Yeah.
I really wish I did, and I don't know if it's too late. I mean, I know I play drums, but the instrument side of it, I wish I knew more about that, you know, because I probably have a little bit more flexibility just to make music on a daily basis, you know, versus having to call someone to play guitar or the keyboards or whatever it is, you know.
That's hard if you don't play an instrument to get a thought from your head musically to another.
Right, and I do it well. I have a way of doing it. Some people would probably disagree, but I believe me, I have a way of finding ideas and making something work. But
so it's not humming.
yeah, humming is. I can hum pretty well, but I can find notes and stuff. But again, just to be able to play an instrument, you know, some other instruments.
Yeah. That makes writing easier, absolutely. What are your fondest memories so far from your time with Anthrax? Tour memories, or?
Mainly just being a part of it, you know, just being able to find a band that I didn't even know that wanted a singer and that I fit, and we hit it off, and it's really the ultimate thing, and seeing the success for the hard work that you put into it, you know, and still to this day, you know, it's a really a cool thing.
That's a really cool thing.
Yeah, there's not many. I mean, people don't last that long because there's just too many indecisive things, and people just don't really kind of stick with it long enough to see it.
Yeah, that's important. You gotta have the long breath in it.
Right. Even if the success isn't there, it doesn't mean it can't continue. You know, there's always certain levels of you know, making it work and having, you know, some good feelings about being in a band.
Yeah, gotta keep the passion.
Yeah.
I think we need to wrap it up a bit. We got the last warning.
Okay. I looked back and saw the camera. I thought somebody was standing there.
Yeah. What's next for Anthrax? Do you plan on sticking around a bit?
Yeah, I guess. I don't even call the shots. You know, if I don't make any decisions as far as like if anybody wants to continue, you know. I'm usually there, you know. I always was there. Yeah. That's the thing. People don't understand how much I was there, and how much I am here, you know. I guess I try to think of what people vision of me, what I was like this guy that wanted to be solo and had enough, you know. It wasn't the case, you know.
Yeah.
So
enjoyed being there.
Hey, I'm here, you know. It's we've been in it too long to really try to like just think I'm gonna, because I have no desire to really try to be a solo artist, even though I wanna be able to make some music with some different type of vocal or different kind of music, you know, or just style. I mean, I love, you know, good straight up rock, or classic rock, or even a really hard edge pop kind of thing, you know. Not to say I'm doing that, but you know, something, or even a good hard blues or a fusion or something, you know, real like a Yes, a Kansas type of, you know, real good riffy, but you know, still melodic. So I don't get to do any of that stuff. That would make me want to try some stuff, but I'm not really like itching to do it. Like I'm not getting anything here. I get it here. Vocally, I don't really have a chance to do a whole lot with Anthrax because it's kind of a tight window on what I can do with it because it's so fast and it's a lot of words, you know. Even now, still to this day. You know?
It is, yeah. So you just see what you can get.
Yeah, we're just going to roll. I think I think any of us here trying to put a time limit on something. I mean, if I could hear about it, then I'd know it. I'd tell you, but. I haven't heard any time limits on anything, you know.
No, exactly. Are there any plans on new material, stuff like that?
No, I don't know anything about that yet right now. I believe that we've been so busy, unless somebody's got a pocket full of tapes at home, or should I say anything that they got that want to, you know, put together in the future. I'm sure people have ideas, you know. But
then we have our last question, and that's: do you have any last words for our readers?
No, just thanks to fans, just everybody that's been a part of the journey of being in Anthrax and believing in the music that they hear and enjoy coming to see us play. You know, that's kind of the end of that. You know.
Well, we do enjoy that.
Yeah.
Seeing you up on the stage from the crowd.
And that's the good thing, man. I love to see that. That's my favorite part, really.
It's been a pleasure talking to you, man.
No problem. Thank you. I appreciate it.